In the heart of Central America, where remote jungle waterways are havens for drug smugglers, a man-sized monster prowls the rivers.
이건 길룡은.
A creature that instills fear in all who encounter it.
One pisamande.
But if your friend hadn't been there, what?
I would be a dead man.
My name is Jeremy Wade. And this beast will take me to my breaking point. And beyond. As I relearn everything I know, in an attempt to catch this elusive Central American river monster.
Coming up, coming up!
I've just heard a story from the jungles of Central America about the unexplained death of a fisherman. He set out from the riverbank in his dugout canoe, leaving his companion holding the other end of their net. It was the last time he was seen alive. 3 days later, they found his body, but the cause of death remains a mystery. Some people say he was taken by a supernatural creature. But although I've never been to this region before, I've seen what other rivers around the world can hold. And I'm wondering whether this supernatural creature could in fact be something I can get my hands on. The story originates from a remote river on the eastern side of the troubled country of Nicaragua. I head to Bluefields, the only major town in the area, to begin my investigation.
Anywhere you are, the presence of God, the power of Jesus, the only one who reach on the cross, He's the only one who save your life and change your heart and change your mind. Hallelujah.
I suppose it's not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting something a bit more, Latin American possibly, but this feels much more Caribbean. It's a real melting pot. Well, there's people of African descent, even European, Chinese, local Indian as well. And the languages, I'm hearing Spanish, but I'm also hearing a Creole version of English, and then other completely unrecognizable stuff, which I'm assuming is Mosquito Indian. Interesting place. This multicultural community stems from its position as a key trading port, and the harbour is still the focus of that activity. But it has a dark side. Very bustling place, lots of stuff being taken on and off boats. But the thing is, Bluefields was actually founded on piracy, and there's still a certain amount of illicit trade going on to this day. And the main thing nowadays, it's all about this being right on the main route for taking cocaine from Colombia to North America. Just a month and a half ago, the Nicaraguan Navy busted a boat with over 2 tons of cocaine on board, a street value of over $200 million. It's sort of the place where, as a foreigner, maybe I don't want to attract too much attention. I think I just need to have a quick look around here and then get up country into the rivers and creeks. I head into the market to see what I can find out about the fish that inhabit these rivers and whether any of them grow big enough to kill a man. There's lots of fish, but they're all mostly sea fish. Pescado del mar.
Del mar.
De mar or de rio ese? De mar. And the people are very knowledgeable about sea fish here. I start asking about rivers and I don't really get very much. Hay algún pescado grande de rio aquí? So I think really what I've got to do, I've just got to go inland myself and see what I can find out there. So I ask around and arrange a ride on a boat to take me upriver. The eastern coast of Nicaragua is a maze of lagoons and rivers, punctuated by just the occasional town or village. It's no wonder pirates took refuge here, and drug runners still operate throughout its hidden waterways. Several hours away from the edgy chaos of Bluefields, I arrive in the region where this unexplained death apparently occurred. I need to find someone who can corroborate this story I've heard and confirm I'm in the right area. Oh, he's out. Yeah. Okay, right. I'm directed to a fisherman named Murphy. I don't think I've met anybody with more injuries, more scars. He's been attacked by a grouper.
Here bited me Jonefish.
A Junefish?
Yeah.
He's been shot.
I got a gun bullet here.
Right.
Pass me here.
Oh, what's this?
This is machete.
Oh, just machete, yes.
When you...
He's also been bitten by a conger eel while diving. So bleeding, a lot of bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Bitten by a snake. And the loss of a leg was actually sort of a fairly mundane thing. It was stepping on a nail and that just becoming infected and in the end becoming gangrenous, and there was no saving it. Had to take the leg off. Murphy's quite a character and seems to have a tale to tell about almost everything. So it's no surprise that when I ask about the unexplained death I'm investigating, not only has he heard of it, but he knows where the incident took place. What place did this happen? Whereabouts?
One fisherman there. Right down there. Him like fishing then. And the man lost it. And then after 3 days, him find it and dead. Done dead.
So this man, when they find him, any bite, anything, any mark?
And the hair blue.
Yes.
And the hair blue too.
Right.
Hair too blue.
But no cut, no bite. Blue colouring could be bruising, but after 3 days in the water under the tropical sun, a corpse can be in a pretty bad state. Now, what do you think happened to this man? Yeah.
Well, how your name? Sirena.
Sirena?
Sirena, the correct then. The man having...
I'm not certain what Murphy's referring to, so I probe him for more details.
The man know the only the guilty.
This was obviously quite a mystery. He said there's a sirena, there's a sort of fish spirit in the water. The fisherman was trying to fight the water spirit, the siren, and maybe this black mark on the back of his head was where the spirit actually hit him, and that was the moment when he died. So the fisherman's tale that brought me to Nicaragua does have a real incident at its heart. But is there any truth in the description of how he died, beaten to death by a siren or water spirit? I travel a couple of miles downriver to where Murphy said the incident occurred, to see if there's a real creature living here that could have been responsible. As far as I can establish, this pretty much is the scene of the crime. And I'm working on the possibility that maybe there was something in the water. If we're talking a large animal, that's probably going to be predatory, so I'm using a lure that's going to trigger that predatory reflex. This line is actually super strong. It's about a 100-pound breaking strain, very heavy-duty reel. So if there's anything down here, large and predatory, this ought to bring it in. This place here is actually a confluence, 2 rivers joining, and it's the kind of place it would make perfect sense for fishermen to come, because this is where the fish hang out, where the currents mix, so you get small fish feeding on the food that settles, and then you've got predators, something just hit that, waiting to feed on them. Yep, this is something on here. I can see it, I can see it. And what I can see is not what I'm expecting. Yeah. This could totally change my investigation. I'm in the remote rivers of Nicaragua in Central America, trying to figure out what killed a fisherman as he was setting his net. Yeah. And I've hooked into a fish at the scene of the crime. Yep, this is something on here. Oh, and it's really changing direction quickly. I can see it, I can see it. Try to swing it in. This is a jack, which is normally a fish that you'd associate with salt water. And even if you don't fish, that is not the kind of fish you'd expect to find inland. That's a lovely looking fish though. You got the deep forked tail for speed. Quite a surprise catch this, whoops. And I'm going to be very interested to see where the food chain goes up from this. The presence of a sea creature like this jack, some 10 miles inland, has got me wondering if this water is as fresh as I thought. So I test it with a salt meter. So 488, so that's nearly 5,000 parts per million. That is what we'd call brackish, which actually opens things up quite a bit, because I was thinking river creatures, but it's quite possible, along with the jacks, there could be something else coming in from the sea. I've dealt with sea creatures that have come upriver before. Bloody hell! They've included some of my longest and most grueling battles. Whoa! As I fish into the night, experimenting with different baits, I'm aware I could be in for another epic encounter. The creature I'm after has apparently killed before. And out here in the dark, I'm in unfamiliar territory. Armed drug runners use these remote rivers to smuggle their cargo. I can't afford to let my guard down.
Something?
Oh, yeah, that is something. Wait a minute, it's just...
Turn the light. Light. Light.
That was it. It's gone now, on it. Something huge jumped out of the water behind me. Something definitely took this. The bait's looking quite unmarked, though. There's a little mark there. Maybe a single tooth, I don't know. So the line was moving out. I closed the reel and never felt any weight on the end. But when I did that, there was quite a large splash behind me. So I took the bait under the boat and then just came up in 20 foot of water, jumped. Yeah, and that would be why I didn't feel anything. I cast back into the water, hoping for a second chance. Whatever took my bait had to be a large predator, but now it knows I'm here. So no more activity. I did have that one take, which I think is enough to tell me that there's something down there. The next morning, I visit a town near the crime scene to see if I can get closer to the real story behind this unexplained death. This way here? On asking around, my inquiries reveal that this is where the man lived, and I'm soon directed to his family home. Hello. Hello, Mrs. Farrell. Hello, nice to meet you. Are you the mother of the man who... The mother, yes. What was the name of the man?
Felipe Martinez.
How long ago this happened, the accident? So six months back, yeah? So the man was called Felipe. And this happened just 6 months ago. She says something in the water took him, a type of mermaid, siren-type creature. So, Nero, this mermaid, this siren, what do people say that it looks like? They have no conception of what this creature might look like. But all she really knows with certainty is that they are here. He is gone. Again, a supernatural spirit is blamed for this death. But there's a man here who has some details of what happened that night, because his friend was fishing with Felipe.
A friend says that he's only hear a noise,
What kind of noise?
or like somebody jump over the water.
So he had a big splash.
Yeah.
A new bit of information here. The other man who was fishing, I'd heard that he was calling and there was no response. But before then, apparently there was a big splash. There was a splash in the water. Something doesn't add up. On a calm, windless night, why would he simply fall from his boat? And why wasn't there a cry for help? It's as though Felipe was knocked unconscious before he had any chance to shout. But what in this water is powerful enough to do that? And could it be linked to the leaping creature that got away from me last night? I head back out, determined to track this beast down. No, this is good, this is good. Hey, oh. Right, I've just seen something, I've just seen something moving left to right. No, I can see the bait now. No marks that I can see on that. I'm gonna get it out there again. Something moved. But it all goes quiet. Despite a few more glimpses in a few different locations, nothing bites. It seems this predator knows I'm here and is steering clear. I'm just chasing around and it's not working. It's the engine noise, something like that, but one way or another it's not working. It's not going to be totally straightforward. I'm going to have to really, I don't know, come up with something else. So I head back to the riverside villages to see if the local fishermen can give me a better idea of what giants are in here. Oh. That's a big old fish, whatever that came off. A lot of vultures sitting here when we came in. The last fish scale I encountered of this size was from an arapaima. One of these giants was responsible for one of my worst injuries. Doctors worried that my heart had been permanently damaged. But arapaima are not found this far north. So I ask around to see if I can find out what kind of fish this scale came from. Oh, is this one around here? Yeah. Somebody's caught a big fish, and there might be some bits of it left. Possibly the head, so I'm told. Am I about to meet the killer responsible for this unexplained death? When fishermen in Nicaragua find white lobsters, what are they talking about? Find out after this. In Nicaragua, a white lobster is a floating bale of cocaine that has been tossed overboard by fleeing drug runners. These lobsters are worth more than $100,000 each. I'm in Nicaragua, investigating a mysterious death that the locals believe was caused by an evil spirit. But is there a fish in these waters that could be responsible? And is this what's left of one? It's a bit grisly. If I'm not mistaken, that is a tarpon. I'd say that's a big tarpon.
Well, this was a fish boat. Probably 200 pounds.
200 pounds. So this big here?
Yeah.
Right. To find tarpon this far inland is surprising, but not unheard of, especially when you consider that the water here is brackish. They are normally found around the coast, and that is where I had my only previous encounter with one, when I was fishing for bull sharks in Florida.
Hey!
That one got away. But this tendency to jump could explain what I heard that night. And could this be what happened to Felipe? Was he hit by one? Tarpon aren't considered killer fish. They don't have big teeth, spines, or electricity. But they do have huge size and incredible speed. They can swim at up to 25 miles per hour. Just get a sense of the solidity of that head. It's just a solid lump of hard bone, muscle, and that with 100, 150 pounds of force coming behind it. Well, you're going to feel it. In Florida, tarpon are known to occasionally damage boats and injure fishermen trying to bring them in. But I'm not aware of any reliable documented case of a tarpon killing anyone. So are the tarpon here more dangerous, perhaps bigger or more aggressive? I need to find other fishermen who have encountered these fish to see what they think. It doesn't take me long to come across a witness to another brutal attack.
Yeah, me and Joel went catching shrimps in the night. Well, he jumped fan out the water and hit him with the bill across here.
This tarpon comes out of the water, the head hit the face. So was he then, no, he's standing in the boat?
No, he's sitting down this kind of way.
Yeah.
Spanish, you know. Any party hit you, damage you then, you're gonna kill you, man. This fish grew big, you know. This fish grew up to 500 pounds, 600 pounds. The fish grew where you can't hold him with no kind of rod line, man.
So on the line, even strong line?
You can't hold him, man.
He's saying 500-600 pounds. I mean, that's seriously large. I mean, I'd be amazed if they do really grow that big, but I mean, who knows? 500 pounds is double the size of the biggest tarpon ever caught in Florida. But the stories keep coming. Daham and another man, they went fishing, and each one reinforces their deadly potential. But when he put his paddle in the water, he touched a fish. They seem to jump at the slightest provocation. He said if his friend wasn't with him that day, he probably would have died. And when hooked, they put up a violent fight. They just told me about someone had his head split open, he's got a scar across his forehead.
To feel this skull,
But if your friend hadn't been there, what?
I would be a dead man.
You think?
Time he get manish.
They said this fish, manish, crazy. This is a crazy fish. This is a dangerous fish. Tarpon are well-documented game fish, but these violent testimonies are unlike any I've heard before. I need to catch one for myself to see if these Nicaraguan fish are somehow different. So I approach some fishermen I spot out on the river to find out how best to tackle this beast. Hello. Did anybody catch tarpon? He tells me that although they occasionally hook tarpon, they don't target the fish as they are too dangerous to bring in. But apparently there's one man who does fish for them.
The white boy got catch tarpon, plenty tarpon.
White boy?
White boy, yeah.
Right, that's interesting. Who catches tarpon? He says that there's somebody comes from outside, a white guy. He catches them. Not Mosquito Man, but...
Mosquito Man, white
right.
boy.
Sounds like he knows something I don't, so that's something I need to talk to if I can find him. Apparently this fisherman has a camp way upstream. But a storm is closing in, so we speed through the rain to outrun it. We're miles from civilization, and I've no idea who I'm about to meet. But he may hold the secret to catching this elusive monster fish. I came to Nicaragua to investigate the unexplained death of a fisherman, and now I'm on a mission to catch his likely killer, the tarpon. I've been directed to the remote campsite of a foreign fisherman who has made a name for himself among the locals. He dares to catch what sound like the largest, strongest, most dangerous tarpon on the planet. He's a German named Daniel Goes, and like me, he's dedicated his life to catching river monsters.
I came here like more than 10 years ago and looking for good fishing spots.
Eventually, he found some giants that no one knew about. Massive, elusive tarpon.
To better understand the tarpon took me quite a while. It took me many years, actually.
But catching them required a radical new method.
And over the years, we changed the approach totally, and we brought float tubes.
Right.
And it's just one huge air bladder. I'm sitting in it, have my feet dangling in the water, and the fish do not recognize me.
My boat's engine was disturbing the fish, but Daniel's raft allows him to sneak up low in the water, silent and undetected. My rubber lure was also the wrong choice.
Tarpon, even though it grows very big, has this habit to eat very small prey. You can present a fly or a streamer that is fairly small, and fly fishing is just the perfect approach to do so.
Fly fishing from what looks like a swimming pool raft might be his proven way to hook a tarpon, but without a sturdy boat around me, I'm an open target.
But when it actually takes your fly...
It's gonna go crazy. It's gonna go totally berserk after the hookup. There's absolutely no way to control it. The head is like concrete, basically. So you don't want to get hit by a tarpon that is jumping towards you or is totally green. That would be definitely dangerous.
It sounds like these tarpon might be bigger and badder than their Floridian counterparts. But now, it's time to find out if what I'm hearing is true. I have some experience fly fishing, but I'm no expert.
Right.
And doing it from a raft is going to be like learning my craft over again.
It actually feels quite nice. I've fished in very small wooden boats before, but it's the first time I've had my feet dangling out the bottom. Is there going to be anything down there that might grab my feet?
These foot-propelled rafts are more commonly used for catching fish that weigh just a few pounds. No one dares to catch tarpon this way, except Daniel Goes. And now, me.
Sit up. Get myself aligned. Oh, roll, isn't it, first? Oh, yeah.
But before I can give it a go, I have to perfect the basics.
Should try that again.
In just a few days, I'm going to try to master what Daniel has spent 10 years perfecting.
No.
And I've a lot to learn before I'm ready to face a giant.
Generally, with fly casting, if it's hard work, you're doing it wrong. It's all about economy, it's all about timing. Getting the hang of navigating and casting at the same time. Oh, against the stop, that's the first time.
Over the next few days, Daniel and I spend hours out on the water, honing my technique. After nightfall, when the remote rivers are too dangerous to fish, Daniel and I prepare our fishing gear for the next day and discuss tactics. And piece by piece, it starts to come together. Finally, Daniel thinks I'm ready to go into battle.
I have to admit I'm feeling somewhat daunted at the prospect of being attached to this fish. I actually have to set the hook using my hand. The rod doesn't have enough power. And then when it takes off, I'm actually hanging onto that line as well to provide resistance. That's why I need a second layer of skin. Daniel takes me to a secret location, which he believes holds the giants I'm after. But he warns me that my technique will have to be perfect. Because in this place, there's no room for error. We're going fishing in a creek now. This is really, really close quarters. I mean, it's very narrow. Maybe 6, 8, 10 feet deep. But apparently there's very big fish in here. With so little space in this creek, if I do hook into a tarpon and it jumps, there's a good chance I could be hit. So it's a very calm and tranquil scene now, but it could potentially get very explosive very soon. And then, the moment I've been waiting for. Fish on! Fish on! I'm deep in the remote, watery jungles of Nicaragua. And after days spent learning how to fly fish from a foot-powered raft, I've finally hooked into a monster. I believe these tarpon are potentially the biggest and most dangerous of their kind. And this one is proving me right. Ah! That smashed my knuckles. Ah! This secret location is only known by my guide, Daniel. So if I'm hit by this living missile, then I'll be in serious trouble. The battle enters a new phase of close combat, but it's still far from over. This is physical. Big fish on a strong line, but it's just very tiring with the feet as well. Big tail. Using all my strength, I'm trying to tire it out so I can start to bring it closer. This giant fish seems to be taking the upper hand. It's swimming circles around me while I get more exhausted. This is a long, protracted struggle for me and the fish. We're both having to fin and just getting more and more exhausted. A grueling hour passes. I'm struggling to maneuver quickly enough to defeat its tactics. And this fish shows no sign of throwing in the towel. Then, at last, I begin to take the upper hand. When fly fishing like this, you have to grab the last few feet of line to take control of the fish, or the rod will snap. But if I thought this fish's fight was over, I was wrong. Line round my fingers here. This fish must be well over 100 pounds. And I finally have it on the ropes, ready to submit. Okay, it's got a light hook hold. So I'm gonna get the hook out. Oh! Oh! Not quite, not quite, not quite, not quite. So close. Had my hands in its mouth, and it just spun. I did everything right up until the last moment, but that just isn't, that's not good enough. 1 second, 2 seconds, just not good enough. I'm exhausted. I can do no more but head back to camp. Though I've lost this one, I've come too far to give up now. I'll go back out in the morning. But I didn't anticipate the weather intervening in this fight.
This has just been going on and on. If anything, the intensity is cranking up, and that's not looking good at all. And what I'm hoping is that when this stops, there will still be enough daylight to get out there.
Finally, the rain stops. But I have just an hour or two left before it gets dark. So I'm back out there, fishing another spot that Daniel believes is a tarpon hunting ground. I just hope I'm lucky to land a fish before nightfall. These remote waters are highways for drug smugglers. This is no place to be in a raft after dark.
Ooh, one of the best yet.
But time is not on my side. I keep casting, but nothing takes, and darkness is closing in.
Oh, yes.
I can barely believe my eyes. A school of tarpon is on the hunt,
Wow.
chasing mullet out of the water.
Ah, that's a feeding fish, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm hoping to glide into casting range without being noticed.
That was something, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be off. No, still there. Gosh, the line is going in the water nowhere near the fish.
The fish I've hooked is running at phenomenal speed, back and forth across the river. And it looks like it's taken my line around a branch. It's getting difficult to see. If I can't free the line quickly, I'll lose this fish.
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff here. Okay, I need to get myself through there. I've got to get underneath this branch. Oh, I'm stuck. Stuck. I'm stuck on the branch.
I'm on a remote waterway in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
And I've hooked into a monster tarpon. But the fish is running at high speed and has snagged my line under a fallen tree. I'm stuck on the branch. That's it. Yeah. My hook hold must be good, as the fish is still on. But I can barely see in the fading light. Large fish on here. Very large. Maybe 150 pounds plus. This fish is bigger than the one that got away, so I'm going to take every precaution. With my last ounce of energy, I heave it in close, and then, only once it's fully in my control, do I take the hook out. Right. Two of us can hardly lift this thing out of the water, but this thing on the end of my line just flung itself several feet clear, 2, 3, 4 times. I just lost count. To catch such a large tarpon this far upriver is rare, and the violence of their fight is unlike anything I've experienced. When you think that the locals are fishing these same enclosed creeks at night and in tiny dugouts that put them directly in the path of this killer torpedo, it's no wonder these tarpon are taking people out. In some cases, like Felipe, before they have time to scream for help. And it just has to be the fish that's responsible for those stories, knocking people unconscious, and then it sounds like also knocking them out of their boats so they're never seen again. This thing, the weight of me flying through the air, you know, if that connects with you, I mean, that could be it. But just what an amazing fish. A real river monster. Want to know how to catch a river monster of your own? I'll show you how at animalplanet.com/rivermonsters.